Alien's Guide to Being an Earthling, a podcast with me, Dr. Khushboo. A consciousness-based guide to creating the life and living you know should be possible with, for, and on planet Earth. Welcome everybody to episode number 10 of Alien's Guide to Being an Earthling with me, Dr. Khushboo. Oh, I am on the other side of some big classes in Access, so I'm different, and I think this podcast is also going to change. And today I have the very special, beautiful Jeni Be, who is also an Access Consciousness Facilitator, woohoo! An X-Men certified facilitator. That's a specialty class in Access. We endearingly call children and adults who have ADD, ADHD, autism, and are on the spectrum, diagnosed or not diagnosed, as X-Men in Access.
Yeah.
And we'll speak more about it through the conversation that we have today. And she's a Symphony Advanced practitioner and also an events creator with Access. So like everyone who's come on this podcast, the alien who wears multiple hats, does multiple things, Jeni is also one of them, and so different in her own way. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. Thank you, Jeni, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to go wherever we're going. Let's see
Yeah,
what shows up.
it's quite open. So usually the way I start this is, everyone that's come on has felt like an alien or keeps feeling like an alien. Basically, like you're just different. You don't fit in wherever and anywhere you go. And as an X-Men, it's like heightened even 100 times, like, or 1,000 times that feeling. So I just want to know, so how were you as a child? How was it for you growing up?
Well, it's really interesting because I was hospitalized before I was 1.5. I had really bad head to toe eczema or eczema, however you want to say it. So I was hospitalized, but I didn't speak till I was 3 years old. So I was brought up in a time where the diagnosis was either extreme autism or ADD, not even ADD then, but extreme autism, which meant that you were dysfunctional, and then you were put in a special home for that. So I wasn't tested for being on the spectrum at that time. I'm that old, you know. So I knew there was something not quite. I knew there was something different. So my sister and I were very communicative telepathically or psychically. If I required anything, she got it for me. And then she started school when I was 3. And suddenly my whole world changed because my mum didn't know how to communicate with me. And then began the download of my mum and dad talking about there's something not quite right with her. Do we need to get her tested? What's going on here? And I heard in their world that I would go to a different school than my sister. And as my sister had been my main support and encouragement and communicator, I decided that I had to start talking and made a choice to be verbal. I can remember the time I chose that. So part of the hospitalization was like the separation and knowing that I'm different, but also like the projections of I wasn't quite right physically. And the other part of not talking was I wasn't quite right communicatively in a way that fitted into this world. Now, all that does is highlight my abilities to talk and engage with other things in an entirely different way. And I've been with that all my life. And been able to communicate with things, but kept it very closed off and silent. So for me, inanimate objects communicate. For me, trees communicate, and everything else around me communicates. And I can engage with those things and people too. But people don't always hear me in the way that I communicate. They will take in the information, what's said verbally, not the 100% energetics that I give. That is where Access came in and helped me. So, childhood was different. Teenage years were hell.
Yes. Beginning
And
of
I will
it.
say hell, I
Yeah.
literally I was bullied, and, like the
Yeah.
usual stuff, you
Yeah.
know you're an alien in an alien's world. Like, how the
Yeah.
heck do you fit in here? So I strived to find out what was wrong with me, all through my teenage years. And when I was 22, I had a meeting with someone and said, look, there's something not right with me. Can you diagnose me? What's going on? And she diagnosed me with sensitivity to this world. And I said, what is that? She says, well, you're environmental sensitive, you've got a lot of allergies, you're energetically sensitive. She didn't use the words energetic, but like you are aware of so much, like electricity, different things, and that way that the medical profession diagnosed me with. But she said, in that way, you just have to live with it. And I went, nah, I've got to find something else. So
Yeah.
I started training in psychotherapy, and I started training in counseling. And that was when I was 23, 24. And from then, I have continued for the next 24 years. Sorry, oh my goodness, sorry, I'm adding another 10 years, 34 years.
Yeah.
My goodness, 34 years of training in different modalities, counseling people and being present with what it is in their world that's so different, and facilitating them to encourage them to be present with that from their perspective, not what society tells you to be present with.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of training, and ended up working in something called the Priory, which is a private psychiatric hospital, where there's anxiety, depression, Tourette's, EDD, OCD, suicide, bulimic, anorexia, a whole load of different, like drugs, alcohol, a whole load of different programs. And I worked with individuals, and I worked in training groups of people on sort of 6 week rolling programs and how to communicate with themselves and be themselves from that perspective. And that was great until 2004. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I lost the ability to walk, and lost the ability to function without a carer. And I went from here to here.
Mm.
And the bottom came out of my world. None of the tools that I had learned from all these different modalities and all these different trainings did not work for me. And I was stuck in a hell of really wanting to die. I'd had enough.
Yeah.
And I chose the medical profession, supported me, they gave me drugs. I would get up in the morning with carers' help. I would shower with a carer's help.
Yeah.
I would go back to bed and take medication to knock me out, to take away the pain. And then one day I was with, I get body work done from a local osteopath, and she said, there's someone here that I think would work well for you. It's something called bars, access bars, and she does tasters. Would you like to try? And like, I'm open to anything, you know?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah. So I had a session of bars, and I went, this is different. And the girl said to me, what was it you got out of it? And I said, well, it's really strange. I don't think I can talk about it. She says, no, go on, tell me what you got out of it. I said, well, there was a man dancing in my world singing, would you like to swing on a star, carry
Yeah.
moonbeams home in a jar? Are you better off as you are? And I'm like, that, there's this guy tap dancing with a top hat and tails. And then there was another man, which I got with Gary, just talking, and I couldn't quite make out what he was saying. But the dancing man, when she showed me photographs of Dane and Gary, one was Gary and one was Dane, and I went, what the heck is this stuff? Like,
Yeah. Just as a disclaimer, those who do not know what access consciousness is and you're
oh,
listening
yeah.
to this for the first time, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here, the co-founders and co-creators of Access Consciousness. Yes, continue. Sorry.
So this was just weird. Like,
Yeah.
here I am having a session where there's 32 points in the head, and someone's holding my head, and I'm seeing these imagery of these two men, and I thought, this is really bizarre, but like, I'm aware that there's something in this. Like, I'm aware to follow my awareness. So here I was, two walking sticks, at that point. used a wheelchair for longer things, had a carer for nearly 9 years. And I said to my husband, I want to do this bars class. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And he said, go for it.
Yeah.
So I said to the girl, I said, look, this facilitator, I said, I don't know if I can sit through all of this, but if I join in the morning, can I join another afternoon, another time and like, do it? And she says, let's see how it goes. So I ended up staying the whole day and I had a fantastic time. And I went, okay, I need more of this. So I then went on to choose the next class of Access, which was Foundation, 2 weeks
Yeah.
later. And then the next class, which was Body Class, 3 day. And I really required that for me to get out of whatever it was that I'd put myself in. And I came home from those Foundation and Body Class that were back to back, an entirely different person. And I knew that I'd changed so much in my world that I could never go back to the limitation that I was living from.
Mm.
Something had changed from the inside out of me. And I began the journey of really asking, who the heck am I? And what if I'm not as fucked up as I think I am? What is it that I am in the world,
Yeah.
and what way can I uncover who I am in a different way? That
Yeah.
alien.
No,
Yeah.
really. I love it. Thank you for like giving us the whole picture in words. I would actually like to pull apart a few things from
Yes.
everything. Especially the first bit that you began with. You realized that you were communicating energetically or telepathically. Can you talk about that communication that X-Men have? For
Okay.
parents and like for whoever who's not done Access before, but for parents who are listening to this for the first time who have X-Men kids,
Cool.
what information can they
So
get?
I would start with, what is it you know? And some people talk to their car. My mum would speak to her car, gave her car a name, and would communicate with her car, and knew when it was going to break down. So that is an awareness.
Yeah.
Other people are great with animals and know really well what the animal is saying and know when the animal needs fed or it needs walked or it needs nurtured, and they'll automatically go there.
Yeah.
The difference with inanimate objects or animals is they have no sort of logical mind that breaks things down and judges. Animals don't care. You either feed them or you don't. They don't have a point of view if you don't feed them. They will find someone that does. Cats are a really good example of that. They will go and find someone that does.
Hmm.
So, what gets in the way with people to people communication is your points of view,
Yeah.
who you think you are, what you think you're communicating, and how you're communicating it. And in my case, a lot of the time, why the heck people don't understand me. Okay, so not only do I have a Scottish accent, but I communicate in a dyslexic way by giving the whole picture in a
Yeah.
oneer. As an example, I would use the film Arrival, or the movie Arrival, where part of that movie, for those of you who have not seen it, there's a linguistic communicator who speaks languages, learns to communicate with aliens, and that is mostly an energetic download of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
X-Men kids communicate in the same way. Normally, they're paired with an X-Men adult. So, if you are finding it difficult to communicate with your child who's been diagnosed or on the spectrum, and you're aware of that, I would ask you to look at yourself first. What is it that's going on for you? And
Mm.
what we can we help you gain a greater awareness of who you are that will help you communicate with your kids. And part of that is kids speak in a full picture. If you put a Spanish child, a Russian child, a French child, and an English child all together, and an Indian child, there you go, five, all together, and they're all playing, they all speak different languages, be it Hindi or whatever, they all speak different languages, but you will find that they will communicate and play a game together because they talk energetically to each other. And we lose this way of functioning by being brainwashed through school age of what is
Yeah.
the right way to be and what is the wrong way to be. So we get compartmentalized into being this instead of choosing to be a bit more chaotic. And
Yeah.
chaos is how the energy of the whole universe was created with chaos, where things come together and they create. Chaos is creative, not destructive.
Yeah.
But we're taught that chaos is destructive. So if a child is chaotic, you can ask, what is that child doing? Now, if you take a dog a walk, sometimes a dog will, off the lead, will play with another dog and they do what we call zoomies, that they'll zoom around. Kids are exactly the same. If two adults are having a communication problem and there's a bit of an argument going on, kids will start to act up. The kids in the room will start to do zoomies or start to create something different to move the energy of what's going on between these two adults. Dogs do the same, cats do the same, animals do the same. So, what is it that we are taught is very logical and analytical of kids should be this way, and if they're not, they're wrong. The more that we bring in a different type of parenting, um, the more that things can evolve. And part of
Yeah.
that starts with ourselves as adults. How do we function in the world?
Yeah. I love
And
that.
and what else can we change about ourselves?
Yeah.
It's not about the kids, it's about our communication with ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen when I've had clients come in with their kids having autism or ADD, ADHD, and they're having difficulty in communication, a lot of the parents are also X-Men, and how much the
Yeah.
kids are trying to show them is like, hey, can you stop being so slow
Yes.
and just relax and get my communication because you already do. That's the
Yes.
thing, because I've actually seen them already getting that information but it's so not verbal, right? It'll be so non-linear and they'll just start doing something, but
Yeah.
not realize that this is actually the communication from your kid.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because kids, we call it downloading. So they don't just give one piece of information via words, they give a whole picture of the information. So if you've got an 8-month-old baby that requires juice, not milk, it will download that information. And normally it will say fridge, water, whatever, look at the tap or whatever, for the water or the bottle in the fridge, and we'll download that information. We, as adults, look for a specific way of communication. We're taught to look for specific engagement communications. We're not taught to be present with the bigger picture. And this is what Access allowed me to evolve into, because I'd made myself so wrong for so
Mm.
long. Even as a psychotherapist, I'd cut off energetically my arms and legs and head, and I was just this small blob. Um, and disabled myself because I couldn't fit into this reality. I
Yeah.
couldn't fit into the way that everyone else wanted me to be. So I had to choose more of me. And with that, I had to evolve past what I thought was right and wrong and really get clear on what it is in my world that works for me and how do I communicate differently. And if someone else doesn't get it, then instead of getting like a kid will have a tantrum, instead of having that tantrum, it's about saying, okay, so that person doesn't get that. What is it they can get about me? And how do I impart that information so they can be clearer on what it is we're communicating? So it's a bit like being this size and then finding the manageable chunk that that person can receive
Yeah.
or that child can receive from me and working that way. Um, and with autistic kids, that download really helps. You give them the whole movie of the day. You say, you're going to school, you're coming back, we're going swimming, we're doing this. You just download it to them in a movie format,
Yeah.
give it to them the full size of it, and then they know what's going to be going on. They don't need the compartmentalization that it's this is break time and this is when you have your apple and this is when you put your apple core in the bin and this is when we go back into school. It's just like, oh my God, it's so slow.
Yeah.
So the X-Men require more information at once, and that can be 300, 400, 500, 5,000 different things at once is easier.
Yeah.
And the more I've done Access, the more I've allowed myself to play with that. So I can be on my computer, have an iPad and a phone, and have different things all going on, never mind all the tabs. Um, I myself, I'm not very good with so many audio things at once.
Yeah.
I like one or two, like I can play two different songs or like play clearings from Access Consciousness or a class. More than that, I'm like that. I can't quite get where I need to go. But visually, I can have a lot of stimulus.
Yeah.
So a lot more information can help me be more of me. And that doesn't mean doing things. That means allowing these things in my world. And the more I've done Access Consciousness, I mean, I started Access Consciousness 2013,
Mm.
and I've been an XM facilitator since 2016
Mm.
for 2-day classes, not just an X-Men facilitator, for facilitating the full um, prerequisite X-Men classes for becoming a facilitator as well.
Yeah.
So these classes are great because they look at where you've disabled yourself and how much of that is actually an
Yeah.
ability to be present in the world in a different way that no one has ever acknowledged. And that again starts with us acknowledging.
Yeah. An ability to be present in the world in a different way. I love
Yes.
that. Yeah. So just some of the things that you said, for it, everything's the opposite. So they're not
Yes.
slower, these kids, adults, you who's listening, they're actually much faster. So instead of giving slow bits of information,
Yeah.
you have to change the way you communicate. And unfortunately, I don't see this in any textbook yet. So here's some other information that if you can try for your kids and for yourself, maybe it'll open up a whole different place. So, they're far faster, and it's an ability to be present in a different way.
Yes.
Oh, and
So, oh,
all
go ahead.
X-Men kids, sorry, X-Men talking to X-Men, and all X-Men are different. So, some would be great at handling multiple visual, sensory inputs.
Yes.
Some would be better at audio. Some would be better at all of it. Some, I mean, each is so different.
So there's that part because that's adding more to your life. The
Yeah.
piece around, and I was that 4-year-old of me was diagnosed as stupid and slow,
Yeah.
but really I was so fast. I was bored with what they were telling me to do. I'm like that. Why you give me this information? I already know this. I was one of these kids that, the teacher would say, can you do this um, long division? And I'm like that, yep, the answer is 5. And she'd say, but I need to see you're working. How did you get there? And I went, I did it all in my head. And she says, you can't, you have to show the working. And this way of having to go through a certain way to prove that you could do this properly was what I hated because that just made me so tight and constricted.
Yeah.
And now that I've let that go, it's like, sorry, I do it this way.
Yeah.
You can't receive me, fine. I don't care.
Mm.
I'm still going to be me, regardless of what your point of view is. And that piece of being able to be auditory, psychic with everyone's thoughts, feelings, emotions, body sensations, energetics from here around the globe. And I
Yeah.
would say to the moon and back,
Yeah.
literally. This is what we can be aware of. And the more I've opened this up and been present with it, the easier it becomes. For a long time in the beginning of Access, that problem, and this is where everything's the opposite of where it appears to
Yeah.
be, oh my God, I'm too aware, I can't deal with this. That is a point of view that creates this contraction and fight against yourself. If everything's the opposite of what it appears to be, nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. But if you're aware of being aware, the more that you build that muscle
Yeah.
means that you can actually allow that information in, receive from it, and be present with it. The greater space you are with your awareness, the easier it becomes. So, in the long term, it can be difficult at first to open up your awareness, but the more you become present with it, the much easier it becomes.
Yeah.
And you can walk through this world and know that the information that you are perceiving, and perceiving's like an umbrella. So it's like it's an overview. You don't have to go into it. So you can perceive anger in other people. Whereas before I would go in and feel that anger that they were feeling and get lost in it and think, why am I so angry? Like, all of that is changeable.
Yeah.
So the emotional component that I felt bombarded with as a teenager and as a young adult began to change with the training that I had, but I still felt constricted by emotions. And Access allowed me to really explore that in a different way so I could open up and be present with it differently. And
Yeah.
that is my capacity with awareness. And what I'm aware of is a lot of the time unwordable. Like I can't put it into words and tell you what it is I'm aware of, but I know that I can be a space that allows that allows me to be greater with myself.
Oh, I love it.
And it just, I mean, you and I just both sighed there because it just
Yeah.
opens up the space. And the more space we become, the easier it is.
Yeah.
And
And
this way that we've been brought up is the more constricted we are in understanding what every little part is, the easier it becomes, like Tetris, or Jenga, whatever way you want to look at it. Both
yeah.
are blocks of this way that we've been taught that don't work for me. They may
Yeah.
work for someone else, but I cannot choose that anymore. I've had to find a different way for me. And this is the journey of access consciousness and the gift that it is with its exploration of actually who are you and what gift are you for the world and everybody else if you choose to be present with your alien side of you, that different side.
The different side. That's not a side, that is just you.
Exactly. Exactly. There are no sides to being. It's 360 degrees in all directions.
So, yeah, so again, just highlighting what she said is this is what was diagnosed as environmental sensitivity or sensitivity to the world.
Sensitivity to the
To the
world
world. That is,
and environmental
yeah,
sensitivity.
and
So
environmental
yeah, yeah.
which if you actually look at it as an ability and for what it really is basically an awareness, 360
Yeah.
degrees awareness of everybody's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and so much more, things that we can't even put into words. Oh, so for someone who is that aware, for someone who is an X-Men, who has environmental sensitivity, who is sensitive to the world, what tool, what is the one tool that you would give them to begin with?
Wow.
How many tools? Like
All of them.
all of
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Really looking at what space can I be to be ease with this? So asking to come out of the point of view that you've made. So a point of view constricts your reality. So if you make this wrong, you're already collapsed. It collapses who you are. If you make this right, it collapses who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're both the same way where they actually constrict you. Asking to what space can I be to be ease with this awareness? You're actually asking for whatever this is to be undefinable, no mind, and to be a space where you can be present with. So expanding out into the 8 corners of the room is a good start, and then expanding out into your building, then down into the earth and up into the stratosphere the same, and then through your town, city, country, through the whole planet. And my favorite example is if our solar system is one grain of sand on one beach on this planet, and every other grain of sand is another universe, how many universes are there? And what if we could expand through all of those where the mind cannot go and just ask to be that? Because we can't define that. The mind can't go there, but you can. So asking to be infinite space in all directions, 360 degrees, and especially looking at what's behind you. Then being clear of once you're that space, like what ease can I be with this? And usually everything that you've learned to try and constrict to understand goes away. And if something disappears, then it's usually not yours, it's an awareness of someone else or something else. And there are many, many tools with Access that help us explore all of those different things. The biggest is the question. So one of the questions, as I said there, is what space can I be to be ease with this awareness? Another question would be, how does it get even better than this? So if everything's stuck, it's like, how does it get any better than this? 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 And if you keep asking it, your world begins to lighten up, and there can be a little bit of joy comes up too. How does it get any better than this? How does it get any better than this? So expanding out space, how does it get any better than this? Using questions and
One of
being
my favorite ones is
yeah,
this relevant? Like,
yeah.
oh, because oh yeah, please continue.
No, totally. Is this
Yeah,
relevant?
yeah,
Does this add into my world or does it contract me? Is it really something that is creating my life?
yeah,
Is this really helping me? Like all of those are similar ones on the same
yeah,
theme. Um, and the leaps with Access, when you start Access and having bars on, there is a leap of awareness that allows you to be just a little bit more comfortable with yourself and just a little bit more uncomfortable with what you've chosen so far. And the uncomfortableness can become a friend. We're taught that we have to be comfortable all the time, but it has to be easy. In actual fact, the more uncomfortable you are, the easier it is because you know you're choosing something different. So if I'm comfortable, then there's actually something I'm not choosing. And I can ask, what is it that I can choose today that will open up my world in every way? And that's asking to be more of me. And it sounds different, but it's like, what if, and that tool, I'm not crazy, I'm actually just different. Like that from Alice in Wonderland.
yeah,
Um, I'm not crazy, I've just got a different point of view. I'm just aware of something else.
yeah,
That to me is one of the reasons, like I chose a life choice. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was messed up. And the
yeah,
psychotherapist that I saw could not understand me. She just said I was environmental sensitive and sensitive to the world. In
yeah,
actual fact, I was highly aware.
yeah.
And that opposite is what's driven me. That passion to be clearer with myself and choose more for me has driven me on this life choice of continually improving who I am so I can be more of me and not less.
Thank you. I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
summarizing, everything's the opposite. Like if at all you think you're wrong because you're different and you're going down a path which is essentially to fix you,
Yes.
then that's going to make you go down a rabbit hole that's not necessarily necessarily something that's actually going to help you. But if you can find something, including these tools of access, which for me personally have also been great, extremely helpful. Like I'm alive today because of access and the
Me too.
tools, the tools. And if you find something that's actually letting you know that this is a gift, that you're not wrong, that there's a different way of looking at it, then go down that path and everything will align to sort of give you the information you've been looking for.
Totally.
And thank you, Jenny, for this.
And
This
it's
is,
not it's
yeah.
not just the tools for me in Access, it's actually using the tools. So, you know, it's using the tools every day and making sure you continue to use them. It's not one choice, it's an ever-going, expanding choice of possibilities.
Yeah.
You're not choosing this to get over something. You're choosing this to evolve from a caterpillar into the butterfly that you truly be. It doesn't take one choice, it's multiple choosings and evolving into who you actually are that's been shut down from a very early age.
Wow.
And and
Yeah.
that with that, I have a free call on X-Men the January the 13th is the UK time. And it's called Faster, Weirder, Stranger, Stronger.
Love it. Faster, weirder, stranger, stronger. That could be a song.
It could be a song, and it's a free call. So we'll give you the sign up for that. And then I have
Yes.
monthly what's called clarity calls. So the first one in January is called Alice in Responsibility Land. So where you take on the responsibility of it has to be you that does all of this. It's your fault because someone's upset. It's your fault. You take it all on board. And then the second one is about OCD, and it's called OCD, Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. That's perfect, isn't it? Question mark.
I love these. I
So
love these calls. Yeah.
they're going to begin to explore down this way. And before that, next week, actually, I have what's called a symphony taster, where I actually work on a group of people facilitating the energetics of who they are. And this one is called X-Men, the Raw Energetics. And rawness can be something that people don't touch on because it's like, oh, it's too much, it's too vulnerable. Well, what if that just being present with your vulnerability for 5 seconds a day is enough for you to choose something different? And so it's building that muscle of being present with your vulnerability, being present with who you actually be. And these are 3 sessions that I delve into your world and group session explore what it is for us all to be so different and facilitate you and your body through the energetics of that.
Oh, sounds beautiful. So, and
That's
we'll put all these links and details in the description, and you can always reach out to us.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been brilliant. There's so much more to this conversation, which I can continue in many more episodes. But this was just a little taster for all of those who feel different, for all of those who are also, have autism, ADD, ADHD, or feel really, really different, basically, and come under these X-Men category. This conversation here is just a little beginning for you to see and know that there is a different possibility. For more, we highly recommend diving in and choosing more of everything that's available for you that we will put in the description. So thank you so much, Jeni. Thank you. This has
Thank you.
been a pleasure. What else is possible? And stay tuned for the next episode with an amazing other alien trying to be an Earthling next time. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. To know more, check out my website www.the-earthlings.com. To know more about Access Consciousness, go to www.accessconsciousness.com. If this contributed to you, do share and invite more listeners, and don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next episode.